Stop telling your child it's not a big deal. Stop saying you're fine when they are clearly shaking inside. You are accidentally teaching them that their inner world is wrong, and that is the fastest way to build a wall between you and your child. In high-pressure cities like New York or Chicago, where the race to the top starts in kindergarten, we are seeing a silent epidemic. It's not an epidemic of bad behavior, but an epidemic of deep, soul-crushing insecurity. Successful families in places like Scandinavia or the top developmental clinics in Palo Alto do the exact opposite, and their children show 40% higher rates of emotional resilience and academic persistence. Today, we are diving deep into the 10 hidden signs of child insecurity and the exact science-backed method to heal that connection. This is the Secure framework, and it starts right now. Did you know that nearly 70% of parents mistake a child's insecurity for defiance or laziness? Only about 15% of caregivers actually recognize the subtle psychological poker face a child puts on when they feel they aren't enough. In the most successful school districts in America, the rate of clinical anxiety among children has tripled because we focus on the output rather than the attachment. The difference? Healthy families use a connection-first model. Think about these situations. Tell me if they sound familiar. Situation 1. You're in a busy grocery store in Los Angeles. Your child drops a jar, it shatters, and they don't cry. Instead, they start laughing hysterically or acting silly. You might say, "Stop being a clown, this is serious." Result? The child feels even more ashamed because that silly behavior was actually a defense mechanism to hide their terror of failing you. Situation 2. Your teenager in a high-stakes Chicago high school gets a B+. They come home and say, "I don't even care about this class. The teacher is a loser anyway." You say, "You need to care. Your future depends on this." The result? They withdraw further. They aren't lazy. They are terrified that if they try and still fail, it means they are fundamentally broken. Situation 3. A young child who follows you from room to room in your home in suburban Illinois, constantly asking, "Are you mad at me?" even when everything is fine. You say, "For the 10th time, I'm not mad. Go play." The result? They learn that their need for safety is a nuisance. When we react to the behavior instead of the insecurity, we create a shame loop. This leads to chronic low self-esteem, social withdrawal, and eventually adult burnout. Research over 30 years from the University of Minnesota shows that children who don't have their insecurity addressed have a 60% higher chance of struggling with workplace relationships decades later. We are currently in the golden window of brain plasticity. Between the ages of 4 and 14, the internal working model, the blueprint for how your child views themselves, is being etched into their neural pathways. If you miss this chance to address insecurity, you aren't just dealing with a shy kid. You are allowing a biological threat response to become their default setting. When a child feels insecure, their brain is flooded with cortisol. This literally shuts down the prefrontal cortex, the part of the brain responsible for logic, learning, and empathy. If you don't change the dynamic now, by the time they hit 18, those neural pathways are hardened. Changing them later requires years of expensive therapy and unlearning. Think of it like a house foundation. It is much cheaper to fix a crack in the cement while it's wet than to jack up the entire house 20 years later. This doesn't just affect their grades. It impacts their physical health, their future marriage, and their ability to lead. A landmark study from the American Psychological Association involving over 10,000 participants found that children with insecure avoidant attachments were 50% more likely to suffer from chronic stress-related illnesses in midlife. Those who were securely attached because their parents recognized the signs early, they earned more, reported higher life satisfaction, and had lower rates of divorce. The difference is staggering. It's the difference between a child who thinks, "I made a mistake," and a child who thinks, "I am a mistake." In the most resilient communities, they use the A.R.E method: accessibility, responsiveness, and engagement. It's based on the attachment theory developed by John Bowlby and Mary Ainsworth. The goal is emotional attunement. We have 3 core principles. Principle 1, behavior is communication. Principle 2, connection before correction. Principle 3, name it to tame it. Instead of focusing on the angry outburst, which is what we usually do, stop screaming right now. The A.R.E method focuses on the fear under the anger. Group A, the traditional strict group, says, "Go to your room until you can be respectful." The child thinks, "I am only lovable when I am quiet." Group B, the secure group, says, "I can see your body is having a hard time staying calm. I'm right here with you." The child thinks, "I am safe even when I am messy." This works because of neuro-co-regulation. When you stay calm, your child's nervous system literally borrows your calm. This isn't soft parenting, it's biological engineering. By the time they reach adulthood, this becomes self-regulation. Let's look at cultural contexts. In high-achieving Asian American or European American households, perfectionism is often seen as a virtue. But child psychologist Tin-Yang Andenyang argues that perfectionism is often insecurity in a tuxedo. In these cultures, the secure method shifts the focus from achievement to effort and agency. Let's look at the evidence. A 20-year study by the Gottman Institute followed 50 families. Group A parents dismissed emotions. "Don't be sad." Group B parents coached emotions. "It makes sense that you're sad." After 2 decades, the Group B children had higher SAT scores, better peer relationships, and significantly lower rates of infectious illness. Yes, even their immune systems were stronger. Dr. Dan Siegel, author of The Whole Brain Child, says, "When we feel felt by another, our brain integrates and we become resilient." To show you how this looks in the real world, let's take a common situation. The "I don't care" defense. Your son stops trying at soccer. He says, "Soccer is for losers anyway." Now, let's get into the 4-week transformation plan. Before you start, you need a safe harbor mindset. You must believe that your child is not giving you a hard time. They are having a hard time. Week 2, the validation shift. Your goal is to use the formula, "I notice, it makes sense that." For example, "I notice you're playing very quietly by yourself. It makes sense that you want some space after a long day at school." Or, I notice you're hitting the table. It makes sense that you're frustrated that the Lego tower fell. You must be specific. Don't say, "Good job." Say, "I saw how hard you worked on that drawing." By day 5, you will notice your child looking at you more. They are starting to trust that you are an ally, not a judge. Week 3, Emotion Coaching. Now we add the core emotion label. When they are upset, don't ask why. A child doesn't know why. Instead, give them the word. You look disappointed that we can't go to the park. This teaches them that emotions are manageable. It moves the experience from the amygdala, fear center, to the prefrontal cortex, naming center. Common mistake, saying, "You look angry," when they are actually scared. If you get it wrong, they'll correct you. That's good. It means they are developing self-awareness. Week 4, the Autonomy Handover. Insecurity thrives when a child feels powerless. This week, shift the control. Instead of "put on your shoes," ask, "Do you want to put on your left shoe first or your right shoe?" Instead of "Did you like school?" ask, "What was the bravest thing you did today?" When they ask, "Is this drawing good?" don't say yes. Lut nook, flip it. "I see you used a lot of blue. What do you like about it?" This moves the validation meter from your hand to theirs. They stop being people pleasers and start being self-approvers. Let's integrate this into daily routines. At the dinner table in your home in Seattle or Miami, instead of the "How was your day?" interrogation, try the rose, thorn, and bud exercise. The rose is something good, the thorn is something hard, and the bud is something they are looking forward to. When they share a thorn, don't try to fix it. Just say, "Thank you for sharing that with me. That sounds like a tough thorn." This builds the emotional safety net that catches them when they feel insecure. Remember, the main problem isn't your child's insecurity. It's the performance culture that tells them they are only as good as their last achievement. 80% of parents are stuck in this trap. But the secure method proves that connection is the only path to true confidence. Start today. Tonight, when you tuck them in, don't just say, "I love you." Say, "I love being your mom/dad, and I loved watching you," insert specific action, "today." Within 48 hours, you will see the first shift, a softening of their shoulders, a bit more eye contact. In a month, you will have a child who knows that even if they fail, even if they are messy, they are enough. If you found this helpful, please share it with one parent who is struggling right now. We are building a generation of secure kids, one conversation at a time. See you in the next video.